Yo, kindergarten. Mrs. Gomez here. The kindergarten teachers have said that what you're going to be talking about in the next week or two are fairy tales. So they asked if I would give you my version of the story of the Three Little Pigs. I'm pretty sure you all know this story pretty well. And if we were in a classroom together, I would ask you to help me out. So while you're sitting at home watching, do your part, okay? All right, here's the story of the Three Little Pigs. There was a family of pigs, and this family had triplets. They were called the Piglet triplets. And there was Parker and Penny and Peter. So one day the mother pig said to them, "Children, it's time for you to go build your own homes." And she said, "Dad and I have decided to give you each the same amount of money to build your homes. So go out into the world and make your own homes." So they all three were very excited about this, and they went on their way. Now the first one to build their first house was our friend Parker. And Parker just decided, I'm not going to worry about making a lot of plans or anything. I'm just going to be really quick. I won't spend very much money, and then I'll have more money to do other things. And I'm going to build a house of straw. Now, it's a nice house. He was very proud of it. So he's out in the forest, and he's singing, and he's dancing, and he's making all kinds of noises. Well, all of a sudden, from the forest comes this sound. Roar! Parker's very nervous. He runs and hides into his house, and then all of a sudden up comes, you guys know, the big, bad wolf. And he comes up to the house and he knocks on the door and he says, little pig, let me in." And Parker said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the big bad wolf says, you know what he says? He says, "I'm gonna huff, and I'm gonna puff, and I'm gonna blow your house down." So he huffed, and he puffed. But what he didn't know was that Parker had put a back door in his little straw house, and so he ran out the door on his way to get away from the big bad wolf. And when the wolf quit huffing and puffing, all that he had left was a pile of straw where it used to be Parker's house. This made the wolf very, very mad because he was really looking forward to a piglet dinner. So he goes off back into the forest, see if he can find Parker. So Parker's still out in the forest trying to find his way, and then here we come. He comes across, he hears singing and dancing. Well, it turns out it's his sister Penny. She has built her house too. But she took her time and she spent enough money to make a good solid house. She was very resourceful. She used the twigs from the forest. She was very proud of her house. She even put a little penny up on top just for her because that's her name. So she's outside dancing and singing and having a good time. And here comes Parker. Sister, you have to help me. The big bad wolf came and he huffed and he puffed and I got away, but he blew my house down. And Penny said, well, of course, Parker. This is why I built this nice house, so that you and I could grow old together and be safe. So they were singing and dancing, and now it's pretty loud because both of them are singing and dancing. And you know what comes? All of a sudden they hear a roar. So they go running into the house to protect themselves. And here comes the big bad wolf. And he's knocking on Penny's door. Little pigs, let me in." And they say, "Not by the hair of our," I have to say our chinny chins because there's two of them. "Not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." Well, the wolf said, then you know what he's going to say? I'm going to huff, and I'm going to puff, and I'm going to blow your house down. While he was huffing and puffing, Penny, just like her brother, had put a back door in her house. So she and Parker ran as fast as they could away from the house, and by the time the wolf was done huffing and puffing, all that's left was a pile of sticks. Now, the wolf is madder than he was before and hungrier than he was before because he now has lost both of the piglets. So he's going through the forest and he's really upset. And here comes Parker and Penny, and they're in the forest and they hear some singing and dancing. Well, guess who it is? It's their brother, Peter. Well, Peter, he spent a long time building his house. He used all his money. He made great plans for his house. And here it was. And he was pretty proud of himself, as he should be. It's a good-looking house. Parker and Penny come running up to him. Brother, can you help us? The wolf came, and he huffed and he puffed, and he blew both our houses down, and we don't have anywhere to live. He said, of course, brother and sister. That's why I built this big, strong brick house, is that the three of us could live happily in this house together. So they were very excited about it, and they were now, all three of them, making quite a bit of noise in the forest, dancing and singing, and all of a sudden, here it comes. Roar! They know that sound by now, and they know who it is, so they go running into Peter's house. All three of them go running into Peter's house. And of course, here comes the big, bad wolf. And he goes, little pigs, little pigs. See, he's getting really mad now. Let me in. And they say, not by the hair of our chinny chins. He said, well, then I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff and I'm going to blow this house down. They were all inside. And he huffed and he puffed. And then he huffed and he puffed again. But the house didn't go down because it was built of bricks. Well, this made the wolf so mad. And then he noticed that Peter had a little ladder that he had put on the side of the house, just thinking he might need it sometime. And the wolf said, I'm going to use that ladder, and I'm going to climb up that ladder, and I'm going to go down that chimney. I'm going to get all three pigs at once. So he climbed the ladder, and he went on down the chimney. But what he didn't know was that at the bottom of the chimney in the house was a big pot of boiling water, and he fell right in. Now, he wasn't the big bad wolf now. He was a scared wolf because he was sure that the three of them were going to cook him for dinner. So he said, please, piglet triplets, please don't eat me for dinner. Please, I'll never be mean again. Well, the three of them said, Wolf, our mother and father taught us to be nice people and not to be bullies like you. So we're going to let you go. But you have to promise, all three of us, that you will never hurt another person again. And the big bad wolf said, I promise. And he ran off into the big forest, never to be heard from again. Now, all three pigs were very proud of their houses. But I want you to notice something about, by the way, this story is a fairy tale. So all fairy tales end the same way. One of the things they have in common is that they say the characters all lived happily ever after. The end. The end. But I wanted to show you something real quick. So we have all three piglets and their houses, right? We have Peter's house. We have Penny's house. And we have Parker's house. Do you notice that they get bigger as they go? They also have numbers on the door. This one has 1, 2, 3. Now, 1 is because at the time in our story, who lived in this house was just the one pig, Mr. Parker. And then in the middle of our story, on door number 2's house, or Penny's house, there were 2 pigs that were living there at the time. That's why there's a 2. And then here, there's 3 piglets that lived in Peter's house, so there's a 3 on the door. So we can notice that as each building got stronger, they were able to live in it happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great time. Adios.